The hum of sophisticated chatter fills the air, the clinking of fine china echoing throughout. Near the window, the stunning influencer Lyla Starr sits at her table, eyes glued to her phone, capturing every perfect angle of her meal for her millions of followers. Lyla Starr, muttering under her breath, "Perfect lighting, perfect angle. This is going to bring in so much engagement." A middle-aged waiter, his smile polite yet weary, steps up to her table and asks if she needs anything else. Lyla, flashing her camera-ready smile, "Just make sure no one disturbs me, all right? I'm working here." He nods and walks away. Meanwhile, at a nearby table, Keanu Reeves sits quietly, sharing a meal with a close friend. His presence is calm, humble, and unassuming. Lyla glances over, instantly recognizing him, her eyes widening in excitement. But within seconds, she sneers and starts snapping photos of him discreetly. Lyla, whispering to herself, "Keanu Reeves. What a joke. Just some actor from an old movie, probably still thinks he's a big deal." Abruptly, she stands up, striding over to Keanu's table. With her camera still in hand, she aims it directly at him. Lyla, loudly and obnoxiously, "Keanu, right? So tell me, is it still cool to take pictures of you, or are you pretending to be all humble now?" What a tragic fall from grace. Keanu looks up slowly, his expression serene, completely unaffected. He simply smiles softly, undisturbed by her words. Keanu calmly, "Sorry, I didn't quite catch that. You seem upset. Is everything okay?" Lyla smirks, relishing the growing attention of those around them. The nearby patrons begin to notice, their murmurs rising. She leans in closer, her voice dripping with mockery. Lyla, scoffing, "I just think it's hilarious how people act like you're some deep philosophical guru now, just because you're spiritual. They forget, you're just an actor from the Matrix." Keanu chuckles, shaking his head lightly. There's no sign of anger or irritation, just a quiet, disarming laugh. Keanu, with sincerity, "Well, if I'm anything, I hope I'm at least kind. The world could use a little more kindness these days." For a brief second, Lyla's confident smirk wavers. Around her, the murmurs grow louder. Some patrons shake their heads, others whisper among themselves. The energy shifts. Lyla, hesitant, flustered. "Kindness, huh? That's what you're selling? Wow." Keanu meets her gaze, his expression steady, unwavering. His voice remains soft, yet firm. "Keanu, not selling it, just living it." Sometimes, the simplest truths are the most powerful. Lyla stands frozen, phone still in hand, her mind racing. She expected drama, a viral moment. Instead, she's met with an awkward, unsettling silence. The people around her, once just spectators, now watch closely, some with quiet judgment, others with something closer to pity. Her breath quickens. Fingers tightening around her phone, she opens her mouth to fire back. But Lyla hesitates, unsure of what to do next. Keanu says nothing, simply taking a deep breath before returning to his meal, calm and unbothered. The waiter from earlier walks by, overhearing the tension. With a polite smile, he casually remarks to Lyla. Waiter, smiling politely, "Everything all right, Miss Starr? Seems like you might have misunderstood the vibe here." The words sting. Lyla's face turns crimson as she hurriedly sets her phone down on the table, embarrassed. She glances at Keanu one last time, but this time her expression isn't one of scorn, it's mixed with regret and discomfort. Turning on her heel, she walks off, her footsteps hurried and clumsy. As she reaches the door, she glances back once more, but Keanu doesn't even lift his head. He's back to his meal, serene, unfazed. The camera lingers on Lyla's retreating figure for a moment before shifting back to Keanu, who, still calm, offers a warm smile to his companion. Cut to Lyla, now seated in front of a vanity mirror, applying makeup for her latest live stream. She looks exhausted. Her phone constantly pings with notifications, comments, likes, and angry DMs. The latest headline flashes across the screen. Influencer attacks Keanu Reeves, regrets it. What happens next? She furiously scrolls through the endless flood of responses. Comment 1. Lyla, that was brutal. Keanu was just being kind. And you, wow. Disrespectful. Comment 2. Unfollowed. You really crossed a line. Comment 3. Keanu is the most down-to-earth celebrity ever, and you acted like that. Unbelievable. Lyla's face darkens, her hands trembling slightly. Frustrated, she throws her phone onto the bed, sighing heavily, visibly defeated. Just then, her assistant enters the room, looking hesitant. Assistant, carefully. Hey, Lyla. The social media team's been talking. There's a lot of heat right now. We might want to address this before it blows up even more. Lyla shoots her a sharp glance. Lyla, bitterly. Yeah, like I don't know. What am I supposed to say? Sorry for attacking a nice guy who did nothing wrong? Please. The assistant pauses before speaking again, this time more gently. Assistant, softly. You could maybe make a public apology. People respect when influencers own up to their mistakes. Just be honest. The internet's a lot more forgiving when they see real growth. Lyla hesitates. Admitting she was wrong feels strange, especially after all the drama she's built around herself. But deep down, she knows the storm isn't going to pass on its own. Lyla, sighing. Fine. I'll do it. But it better be good. I'm not letting my career go down over one stupid mistake. Cut to Lyla sits in front of a camera, the lights dimmed for a more intimate vibe. She takes a deep breath before speaking into the lens. Lyla, nervously. Hey, everyone. I want to address something. If you've been following me, you probably saw my interaction with Keanu Reeves yesterday. And honestly, I was wrong. I was rude, disrespectful, and looking for drama where there was none. She pauses, swallowing her pride. Lyla, more vulnerable. I've spent so much time chasing attention online that I forgot what really matters. Kindness. Keanu. If you ever see this, I'm really sorry. You didn't deserve that. You've inspired so many people, and instead of respecting that, I tried to tear you down. That was a mistake. She takes a long breath, her voice trembling slightly. Lyla, genuinely, I'm going to do better. Not just for my followers, but for myself. I hope everyone understands. I'm human, and I mess up. But I'm learning, and I'm really trying to grow from this. She ends the video with a soft, apologetic smile, presses the post button, and looks down at her hands. For the first time in a long while, Lyla feels a sense of clarity. Cut to the next day. Lyla sits at her desk, scrolling through her phone once again. But this time, the comments are different. Comment 1. You actually apologized? I'm impressed, Lyla. You owned it. Comment 2. Respect for acknowledging your mistake. That's real growth. Comment 3. You're learning, and that's what matters most. Keep going. A small smile appears on Lyla's face. The weight of the previous day's events slowly begins to lift. Then, suddenly, a new notification pops up on her screen, this time from her social media team. It's a comment on her apology video from Keanu himself. Keanu Reeves. Thank you for your kind words. The world could always use a little more kindness. Take care. Lyla's eyes widen as she reads it, her smile growing even bigger. Her fingers hover over her phone as she types a quick response. Lyla typing. Thank you, Keanu. I will. You've set a really good example, and I'm grateful. She hits send, then leans back in her chair, finally feeling at peace. Her journey towards self-reflection and kindness has only just begun. The next day, Lyla's phone buzzes again, but this time, it's an exciting notification. A major brand partnership opportunity appears in her inbox. She hesitates for a moment, reading through the details. It's a high-profile campaign, something she would have jumped at immediately before the incident with Keanu. She pauses, considering. Lyla softly, to herself, am I really ready for this? Have I actually changed? Or am I just trying to get back to where I was? A knock on the door interrupts her thoughts. Her assistant steps in, her usual bright smile a little more reserved today. Assistant, tentatively. Hey, Lyla. The brand wants to discuss the details with you. They're really excited to collaborate. Lyla looks up, her fingers still hovering over the screen. Lyla, quietly. I know. I saw. But I don't know if I'm the same person who would have taken this deal a week ago. Her assistant furrows her brow, confused. Assistant, gently. What do you mean? Lyla leans back in her chair, her gaze distant, lost in thought. Lyla, softly. I've been so focused on my image, on staying relevant, that I forgot why I started all of this in the first place. I think it was never supposed to be about making headlines for being dramatic. It was about actually making an impact. And now, I don't know if jumping back into the same cycle is the right thing anymore. Her assistant watches her closely, sensing the shift in her mindset. Assistant, thoughtfully. Maybe it's time for a new chapter then. You don't have to keep living up to that persona. You can still make an impact, just in a different way. Lyla nods slowly, her expression softening as she comes to a decision. Lyla, firmly. Yeah, I think you're right. I need to start thinking long-term, about what kind of influence I actually want to have. Not just what's going to get me the most likes. With a deep breath, she opens her inbox and swipes past the brand offer. Without hesitation, she presses decline. The notification disappears instantly. A weight lifts from her chest. It feels like a small victory. Cut to a week later. Lyla sits in a cozy cafe, wearing no makeup and dressed simply in casual clothes, a far cry from her usual influencer persona. She sips her coffee while talking with a group of young adults in a quiet corner. They listen intently as she shares her journey, her voice steady and sincere. Lyla, smiling, and I realized, it's not about the followers or the brand deals. It's about using what I've learned to help others. That's why I'm working on starting a mentorship program for young creators, especially women, who feel like they have to act a certain way just to get noticed. The group nods, clearly impressed. One young woman looks at Lyla, a spark of inspiration in her eyes. Young woman, enthusiastically. Wow, that's amazing. I'd love to learn more. Lyla smiles, feeling a genuine connection, one that had always been missing from her content. Lyla, with sincerity. I'm really glad you feel that way. I'm excited about this new direction. It's about finding your voice, not just copying what everyone else is doing. So, let's start sharing and learning together. As the conversation continues, a notification pops up on her phone. It's a message from Keanu Reeves. Hey, Lyla. Just wanted to say, I saw your recent posts, and I really admire what you're doing now. Keep being you. Lila's heart warms as she reads it. She smiles softly, her fingers hovering over the screen as she types a response. Lyla typing. Thank you so much, Keanu. Your kindness means more than I can express. I'm learning and growing every day. She presses send, then slips her phone back into her pocket. Looking up at the group around her, she takes a deep breath. The camera lingers on her face, calm, centered, and finally at peace with the person she is becoming. The next few months pass in a blur of progress. Lila's social media presence begins to shift, away from superficial beauty shots and viral stunts, and instead toward authentic storytelling, personal growth, and empowerment. The mentorship program she launched for young creators quickly gains traction. Countless aspiring influencers reach out, seeking guidance. Lila's platform evolves into a safe space for meaningful conversations, and her followers respond with gratitude and support. One afternoon, a notification pops up. It's a direct message from one of the influencers she admires most, a rising star in the creative space who had previously been one of her biggest critics. Influencers Dem. Hey, Lyla. I've been watching your journey over the past few months, and I have to say, I'm really impressed. I used to think you were just in it for the clout, but I can see it now. You've truly changed. Would you be open to collaborating on something that highlights mental health and growth for creators? I think it could be powerful. Lyla reads the message, a small smile tugging at her lips. She thinks back to all the times she faced criticism, the backlash, the moments when she questioned if she was making the right choices. But now, as she reads this message, she realizes just how far she's come. Lyla typing, with confidence. Absolutely. I'd love to collaborate. Let's make something that matters. A few weeks later, Lyla stands on stage at an influencer summit. The room is packed. Hundreds of young creators, some just starting out, others already well known. Now, she's the keynote speaker, invited to share her journey, about transformation, kindness, and the power of vulnerability. As she steps up to the podium, the crowd falls silent. She looks out at them, feeling the weight of the moment, but also a deep sense of gratitude. Lyla, her voice calm and steady. I know that many of us started on social media because we wanted to be seen, to get attention, to be liked. But what I've learned, being seen, isn't enough. We need to see others, too. We need to use our platforms to lift people up, to create spaces where people feel like they matter. She pauses, letting the words sink in. Lyla continues. Kindness? It's stronger than any clickbait. The love you put out there, the authenticity you embrace, those are the things that help you build something real, not just for followers, but for yourself. And that's real influence. So let's start using our voices for something bigger than just likes. Let's use them to make a difference. The room erupts into applause. Lyla steps back from the podium, her heart full. She looks out over the crowd, so many young faces, hopeful, eager for change. And she knows. This moment, this platform, it's not about fame, not about followers. It's about something deeper, something lasting. After the event, Lyla walks outside into the warm evening air. She takes a deep breath as her phone buzzes with notifications, but for now she ignores them. She looks up at the sky, feeling the cool breeze against her skin. Suddenly, her phone vibrates in her pocket. A new message. Keanu Reeves, just saw your talk. You were incredible. Keep spreading that light. Lyla smiles, her eyes closing for a second as she savors the moment. She types out a response, her fingers tapping the words with sincerity. Lyla typing. Thank you, Keanu. Your encouragement means more than I can say. I'm just trying to do the right thing now. She hits send and slips her phone back into her bag. As she walks down the street, she feels a renewed sense of purpose. Her journey. It's no longer just about growth. It's about guiding others, creating something meaningful, leaving behind a legacy of kindness and authenticity.